Here's a package of leftover cooked chicken, and I am forever looking for a recipe to utilize it. So today, one of my all-time favorites, chicken tetrazzini. It looks like a lot of ingredients, but that's why it tastes good and it comes together so quickly. So of course we'll use some leftover chicken, rotisserie or baked chicken. We'll need milk or cream or half and half, chicken stock, white wine if you'd like to, otherwise we'll tell you how to do it without, spaghetti, a little flour, salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, parmesan, mozzarella cheese, butter. I've got some leftover roasted broccoli. Gonna throw in some mushrooms, garlic, and onion. Let's make this delicious casserole. So first we're going to cook our pasta with a large kettle of water that's salted. And I like to weigh out my pasta because here's the deal. So many of these casseroles with pasta are dry because I believe there's too much pasta per the sauce amount. So we're going to weigh 6 ounces of pasta. Close enough for me. I'm gonna drop that into the water and we'll let that cook. Okay, so while the pasta cooks, we'll get the rest of our ingredients ready. I like mushrooms. If you do, go ahead and add them to the recipe. Slice them up. Then we'll need about a tablespoon of minced garlic. I like to use fresh, but use whatever kind you like or have handy. I mentioned that I had some of this delicious roasted broccoli. Just gonna rough chop that, place it on here as well. And about a half a cup of onion. I just happen to have a red onion available. Doesn't matter what kind of onion you use. We're just going to dice that in order to make about a half a cup. Place that on the plate as well. And then for the cheese today, we're using fresh Parmesan and mozzarella. There's anti-clumping agents that get added to pre-shredded cheese that can keep it from melting right in a recipe. So I love to use these fresh ones. So this is about 2 cups of chopped mozzarella cheese and half a cup of grated Parmesan. Once the pasta is al dente, don't overcook it. We'll go ahead, drain it, but do not rinse it. Just drain it, shake it a bit, and just let it sit for later. In the same pan that you cook the pasta in, you might as well use it to make the sauce. Save you washing a pan. So we'll go ahead and put that on about medium heat. We'll add a 1/4 cup butter. One of the reasons this recipe has what seems like a lot of ingredients is because we are making our own cream soup, per se. I'm not a big fan of using canned cream soups. Again, like the pre-grated cheese, it costs a lot, it's not as quality, and I like making my own. So the melting of the butter is the first part of making our sauce. Once the butter is melted, you'll want to add the garlic and the onion. Cook that until it's softened, probably about 3 or 4 minutes. You'll want to stir occasionally to keep the garlic from burning. Okay, once those are nice and softened, then we're going to go ahead and add 1/4 cup flour, 2 teaspoons salt, and 1 teaspoon black pepper. At this point, I like to whisk this in, and you can see we're making what we call a roux, which is basically just fat and flour. We want to let this cook for probably about a minute, just to take the flour taste off of it. So once this mixture starts to bubble, then we're going to add our liquids, which is 1 3/4 cup chicken stock or broth. I love the stock, it's way richer, gives a richer flavor. Go ahead and whisk that in. It helps you to break up the fat and the flour and incorporate it into that wonderful stock. Then we're going to add 1 cup whole milk. You could use half and half if you'd like, or maybe you'd like to use half whole milk, half and half. Then we'll add 1/4 cup white wine. The alcohol that's in this wine will cook off in the process, but it will give it a very unique and delicious flavor. If you don't want to use white wine or you don't have any, just go ahead and add extra broth. Just going to keep this all on medium heat until this begins to thicken. So as you can see, it's starting to thicken. Coats the back of the spoon, which is a good consistency. To this mixture, we're going to go ahead and add a teaspoon of Italian seasoning and about 2 cups of mozzarella cheese that we diced, and about 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. Just want to stir these in so they're nice and melted and incorporated. And once the cheese has melted, we're going to go ahead and add our mushrooms, our broccoli, and our chicken. We'll just stir to coat. Then you're going to take your pasta, work with it a little bit to separate it, and add it to the pot. You want to toss this. Tong works well here. You can turn off the heat at this point. We're going to finish this in the oven once we get it all mixed together. Now from here, you could put it in any large casserole dish, 9 by 13. But I'm going to put it in 2 small aluminum pans for us to have one tonight and one for later. I would say these pans would easily serve 2 to 3 people each. Sprinkle a little parsley over the top, a little paprika for color, and of course you could add more cheese to the top if you'd like. And we'll bake on 375 for about 20 or 30 minutes until it's bubbling. We're hot and bubbly right out of the oven. You can see here on the tray. I'm gonna take a scoop and put it, oh, it's nice and moist. It's very creamy. We definitely have plenty of sauce here, which is always the concern when you make a pasta dish. But pre-cooking the pasta, of course, helps a lot. So there it is, maybe a couple more mushrooms, a little more chicken on top. Wow, having this with a nice green salad and a piece of toasted bread. It's so amazingly great. You can get the flavor of the wine. The cheeses are very subtle. It's not overly cheesy. It's just light and delicious. A great way to use up any extra chicken you might have. Give this one a try.